Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to start with the procure to pay cycle, that is called as P2P also in SAP MM. So procurement is the important topic in SAP MM functional module, or you can say the MM module, which is known as material management. It is also known as sourcing and procurement as per the latest HANA, S4 HANA version. Both are same. Now, what is this procure to pay? So, the sentence itself or the title itself is self-explanatory that we have to procure the material and we need to pay for the procured material. Now, there are different types of procurements such as direct material procurement is there, indirect material procurement is there, services procurement is there, consignment, subcontracting, third party, outline agreement, stock transfer, intercompany procurement. So there are different types of procurements. So we are going to see this one by one. But before that, we need to understand what is procure to pay cycle, or you can say P2P cycle. So in this slide, the it represents the whole P2P cycle. So if you focus on the first step, that is determination of requirements, that step is nothing but where we raise the purchase requisition. Now if there is any need or requirement for certain material from respective department, they raise the purchase requisition. Purchase requisition is like a internal document. So purchase requisition is raised. Once this is raised, then it means that these are the requirements of the materials, whether it could be the direct material or it could be indirect material, services, consignment, subcontract, etc. etc. Then we need to determine the source. So source determination is nothing but we need to find out the vendors. So we can find out the vendors through sending the RFQs, that is the request for quotations. So once we get the purchase requisition, we create the request for quotations for the particular material. So there will be many vendors, we need to send the quotations. Then vendor selection. Now when we send the request for quotation to the vendors will give us the reply. So one vendor will say that each material may cost $90 or 90 rupees, and the vendors may have different conditions also, freight conditions. The vendor may give you the discount. Vendor may also give some planned delivery when the vendor is going to deliver you the materials. So they will send us back the response within the deadline. Now we need to select the vendors. So as per our criteria, say if we want to go for the less price, if any vendor quotes the price less for the material, and if any vendor is maintaining the good quality, freight conditions, etc. etc., we have to select the vendors. So once we select the vendors, then we have to actually send the rejection letters to the other vendors that we have rejected the quotation. So when we select a vendor for the particular material, when the vendor satisfies all the conditions, payment terms, etc. etc., we have to raise the PO. PO is nothing but purchase order. So it is an external document because this is going to be supplied to the vendors. So it's an external document. Now fourth step is that we have to process the POs, like the material number, quantities, where you need actually, plant location, storage location, etc, etc, and the vendor details will be filled. Once this is done, we can monitor the PO. Like when we send this PO to the vendors, vendor will acknowledge that I'm going to send these materials on particular date, etc, etc. So after the vendor sends us the material, the step number 6 is nothing but goods receipt. So now goods have arrived at our warehouse. Now we need to book the goods receipt, that the number of quantity is received in our warehouse and at a particular storage location. So this is nothing but it is called as a goods receipt. So that is called, sometimes it is called GR. So in GR we are going to enter number of quantities, material, etc, etc. Basically goods movement will happen here. Once this step number 6 is done, we have to go for invoice verification. Now whatever the quantities and the gross price, net price is entered in PO, we have to do the invoice verification. So here we have to book the invoice receipt. So that is nothing but the amount condition will come here. So need to pay to the vendors and all those things. So once we confirm the invoice verification that we have received the goods and this is the amount, or any freight charges are there, or any conditions are there, so all the amount will be the tax, everything. So tax code, tax information will be coming in the invoice verification. Once this is done, the finance people, that is FI, so the payment processing will be done. So the vendor will be paid by the company, and this completes the procurement cycle. So this is how a general the definition, or you can say it's a complete cycle of procurement happens, whether in case of direct or indirect service procurement, etc. So normally this is what the procurement cycle is conducted. So during this, the movements of goods will happen, and there will be lot of documents generated, such as when we do the PO, it is nothing but it's an external document, and it is going for the vendors that we need this, we have raised the purchase order. When we get the material, we have to do the goods receipt. That is nothing but again there is a movement of goods, we have to receive it into our warehouse. So during this it will generate finance document, accounting documents, stock documents. So there will be the inventory cost or the inventory valuation also document generates. So these things will be generated, and we will actually see how these things will happen when we do the hands-on. So this was this was a picture of the P2P cycle. Let me show you another figure of the P2P cycle, where it also shows you the same technique. So you can see here on this side you have the supplier, or you can say the vendor who supplies the material. The first document is nothing but the purchase requisition. So this purchase requisition can actually it will raised manually, or it will be created manually, or it can be created through automatic, that is through MRP run. Now from purchase requisition, it's like an internal document, so the department will identify that there is a requirement of a material. Then this purchase requisition, actually we have to convert it, you can convert it into request for quotation. We send the quotation request to vendors. Vendors sends us the conditions with back. Okay, then we reject the vendors, then we select the vendors. We actually raise the PO with the selected vendors. Once the vendor supplies the goods, we do the goods receipt where our inventory changes will happen. So once we receive the goods, then we can go for the invoice receipt, and where it will go to the financial accounting, so their payment or processing will happen to the vendor. So this is what the P2P cycle is all about. So uh, this is what the theory is, and after this let us see those documents, the purchase requisition documents, purchase order, goods receipt, invoice receipt in the SAP MM. Let's go, guys. So let me show you the first document, which is known as purchase requisition. So purchase requisition, you can access the purchase requisition from logistic, material management, purchasing. Then there is a purchasing requisition. Its T code is ME51N. So if you type here ME51N and press enter, you will see the purchase requisition document. So you can see here the title of this document. Now here you can see there is option called as document overview of, create new, change, hold, check, all those things. If you click on this, the document overview will go off. Now here you can see purchase requisition standard. Next you have a header option here. Then you have item overview. So if you want to raise the material requisition for the material, you have to give the material here, quantity, delivery date, plant, storage location, purchase group, etc., etc. You can also give multiple types of materials. Okay, next here it is item details. Once you enter the item overview here, it will show all the details. So this is the purchase requisition can be used as a reference to create quotations, outline agreement, and purchase order. Now after this, let us go for request for quotations. So when you raise the purchase requisition, let me close this. So you can see here there is a request for quotation or quotation. If you expand this, then if you expand request for quotation, the T code is ME41. Just click on this, and now you can see this is request for quotation initial screen. You can create the RFQ with respect to or reference to purchase requisition or outline agreement. You have to fill this details. So language, what is the RFQ date creation, what is the quotation deadline, when there is a deadline where within which the vendor has to send us the response. Then organizational data, purchase organizer group. So this is what we need to feed. So don't worry guys, we are going to create this in detail. Close this. Once you get the request for quotation, you have to go for maintaining the quotation. We have actually need to enter the response after getting it from the vendor. So then vendor rejection, vendor acceptance will happen. So after this, we have to raise the purchase order, which is here, and its T code is ME21N. So you have to click on this. So this is the create purchase order screen. So here also you can see there is a document overview on off if you want to have that. You can click on it. Then there is a vendor here. Okay, you can enter the vendor here. Then you need to enter the organization data, purchase organization company code. This is nothing but item overview. Here material number, quantity, delivery date, price, plant we have to enter. Then below there is a item overview where it will show you the price. Okay, freight condition, tax code, etc. So we will see this in detail when we are going to create this purchase order. So after purchase order, we have to do the goods receipt, that is called as a GR. So that is nothing but inventory management. So goods movement will happen in MyGo. If you click on this, you will see goods receipt, and there is a purchase order. You have to give the number of the purchase order, and if you hit enter, it will show all the details. So you need to enter the quantity, where you are going to receive the goods, etc. If everything is okay, you have to check and post. So once you do the goods receipt, it will generate two documents, that is, one is accounting document and another is material document. So now once this goods receipt is done, we have to go for invoice. So that invoice is actually comes under logistic verification. So you can see here document entry, then there is a MyRow. So you have to enter the company code. For example, ABCS is the company code. Now this is the incoming invoice. So invoice date, posting date, then you need to give the PO number here, and then it will show you the balance. If there is any tax code you are maintaining, you have to maintain here, and you need to enter here. If there are any payment details, tax details, or if there are any unplanned delivery costs, that you have to enter here. Once you do this, you have to save. Then the next process is payment to the vendors by the finance people. So this is what the entire P2P cycle you have to do, and most of the time you will be using these documents frequently. So let's start in detail one by one in the next video. So guys, please like, share and comment, and do subscribe my channel to motivate me. Thank you.